What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. ChatGPT has done it again. We are in this cat and mouse game between Google, ChatGPT, Claude, and whoever else wants to join in. And today we are looking at images in ChatGPT. They have made it better, nano banana quality better. I think so. I'm going to show you a lot of examples, but before we get into it, here's the TLDR. This is live as of December 16th, 2025 on all plans, but it'll roll out to enterprise and business customers soon. It's a new chat experience dedicated to creating images, and it also allows for much better prompt adherence and image editing. So far, I have seen that to be true. There's also stronger text rendering. So text on image is also doing a better job and it's adhering to the prompt much better. So here are some examples of before and after. And then here's an example of a lot of text on the image. There's also improvement in image quality. So this is the previous one on the right and the new one on the left. You can see many small images also has a better image quality. Just different prompts overall seem to be better with this new version. And they also have a much cheaper version 1.5 API, which is right here. So you can use this in the API. It doesn't mention the cost of the API. However, for today's video, I'm going to show you all the examples inside of the ChatGPT user interface. So let's get started. I am inside my ChatGPT interface and you will see something new here called images. If you are on mobile, make sure to update your app to get that same experience. And once you click on this images, first you'll see on the bottom your images if you have already created them. And you can also go and look at any of these presets, either a preset style or discover any of these. So let's look at some of these preset styles. We have about 2 or 3 different rows of them. And again, scroll through them. What's cool is when you click on any of these preset styles, so let's go with this one, plushie. What's going to happen is it will ask you to either choose a photo from your computer or use one of the existing images. So let's just use one of my existing images. And what it does is automatically creates the prompt for you so you don't have to do the work of creating that prompt. And I have also noticed that these are much faster to generate than the previous ChatGPT 1.0 image model. I've noticed that it gets generated maybe in 15 to 20 seconds. You can see I'm already at 50% complete. So while that's generating, let me show you one of the other ones I did with the preset. It was this pop art image. And here's our plushie is also created. So let's go and check it out. Awesome. And it's been doing a good job of representing me. Nano Banana used to have trouble maybe 50% of the time representing my image. I don't know if it's because I'm bald. ChatGPT has been doing a much better job. So this was the pop art preset, and then I also tried the sketch preset, and that came out pretty cool too. This is my original image, and then this is the sketch preset. Now what you can do is when these images are generated, you can click on them and describe your edits, or right here within the interface you can describe the edit. So in this case, let's say I want to have a hat on. I'm going to give that edit to this image. So my edit is add a black baseball hat. We'll hit send on that and wait for that to generate. While it does, the other thing I want to show you is I asked it to create an infographic. Now it didn't create it in as much of a depth as Gemini would. So let's try the same thing in Gemini, create an infographic. So while Gemini is doing its thing, let me show you what that infographic looks like. What I do like is the text adherence on the image. Everything is legible. I'm going to open this on a new tab so we can zoom in and you'll see there's not much that's off kilter here. If anything, I think the little tiny thing I see here is under United States. You can kind of see some discoloration here, but the fonts are legible. The text is legible. So this is a great leap forward for ChatGPT. It doesn't really look like an infographic, but it has done a really good job of making sure that the text is legible. Now, if we go back to Nano Banana, this one looks more like a infographic, and it even sizes it as an infographic. So that's really the one thing that I would love to see from ChatGPT 1.5 is, or maybe the next version is these infographics. And that was only a single prompt I tried. I'm sure if I rephrase my prompt, I might get better results. Now, while we were doing that, I think the plushie hat transformation is complete. So now it has added this baseball cap, and I had said add a black baseball hat. That has been added, and I can continue to edit my image. So I can again click on it and describe my edit. We'll continue. So that was one. And then the next one, I did a lot of back and forth with this. First, I did the K-pop style, which was the, if we go to the images, and it's this one right here. What would I look like as a K-pop star? I tried that, and then I continued to edit it. So I asked it to make it black and white. Here we go. Then I said, okay, now add these elements. So we have the hat, the earrings, the glasses, and the Apple Watch. And you can see all of those got added. So we have the hat, glasses, earrings, and the Apple Watch. Even though the Apple Watch orientation should be facing me and not the other way around, but it did a pretty good job. And then I said, okay, now add shades of orange to the jacket. And we see that here. Next, put me next to a Harley bike, and it actually put me on a Harley bike, and even the bike looks pretty good. It has symmetry here between these two lights. Looks pretty good. And then I said make a 16:9 thumbnail about the new ChatGPT images. So this is the thumbnail, and I think that's not a bad thumbnail. So far, it's been doing really good. Then what you can also do is you can, once you click the image, again, you can go to editing, but you can also add elements by hitting that plus button to that image that you want to edit. Up here, you can also select an area. So I can I can choose that button and select this area and then describe the edit just for that area. Look at some of these other things. So create an album cover. Let's try that one next. And what's cool is as soon as you choose the preset, upload your image, it just goes off and starts doing it. That is pretty cool. Now, okay, here's my album cover art. Pretty cool. Again, I can select an area, edit that area if I want to, or I can like and dislike this image or describe my edits. Now let's walk through some of the other designs that I tried to recreate from Reddit. This one was a man standing on a iPhone, so it did pretty good creating that. And here's my prompt: man stands confidently atop a large smartphone lying diagonally on the ground in dramatic 3D perspective, etc., etc. And it even says the smart screen displays a music streaming app playing I Mean It by G-Eazy at timestamp 154. So I can see 154 timestamp here with playback controls clearly visible and more by G-Eazy section beneath. So here's more by G-Eazy. It is doing really good. Then I said, okay, convert his face to a cartoon face. So you can see it did that as well. Then I said the cast of Friends as if they were preteens all hanging out in Central Park. I thought this came out really adorable. So you can, pretty sure you can make out the cast just by their iconic hairstyles, and it does have some resemblance to their images. So I think this is Phoebe, Rachel, Monica, this Chandler, and I just wasn't sure about Ross and Joey, but I think it did pretty good there. Then I said a tweet from account called SFC Trading saying BTC is about to crash. Who's ready to cash out? It actually wrote the tweet, but then I said, okay, no, create an image of a tweet. So here's that image of a tweet that also came out pretty good. Next was a first person view image of someone holding a pack of Pokemon trading cards, God pack. The background should look like a living room with a slight blur effect. It did good except for this God pack. I don't think I needed that. It was just implied that this should be a God pack. And the text on here didn't do as good either. So that might just be because maybe it's Pokemon. I don't know. Next is a 3D miniature isometric room of a bakery. So that one also came out pretty good. Now let's open this in a new window and see if there's any text here. So no text, that means no legible text to read, which is fine. One thing to note here, if I wanted to add text, what I could do is hit the three dots here and branch this into a new chat. And in that new chat, I can go down here and talk more about that image that I want to edit. So again, I can click on this image and then describe my edits, or I can select this area. So let's select this area right here, the mat, and type our prompt to change the message on that mat. And the message is, the mat should say $1 fresh baked bread. So it should keep everything else about that image exactly the same and simply change that piece of mat with the message on it. So let's see if that happens. And here's our miniature scene with that mat replaced. And now it says $1 fresh baked bread and everything else is the same. So that is pretty cool. Let's continue with some more of these images and then I will show you how to do professional photo editing using ChatGPT image model. So our next one is a vintage style Polaroid pic of Britney Spears with Justin Timberlake 1990s vibe, and it's put them looking like they're back in the 90s, and I think that came out pretty good. Even their styles of how they used to dress, it's pretty spot on. Next is a professor teaching astrophysics in class. The lighting is dim, formulas on the whiteboard, a projector lights up the whiteboard and the professor's face. So I wanted to kind of mention that the projector is overlaying on top of the professor, but this actually looks pretty good, and you can even see the shadows look very realistic on where this man's shadow should be and where the marker is, and also my adherence to prompt on the projector light. So that's pretty cool. Next is create a flyer for Carnival Cruise. Offer says cruises start at $419. Use impact font, show CTA button. So I don't know if this is impact font, but it sure does look like one. It even added the Carnival logo here, added a cruise, and even that book now and cruises start at $419. So you can create flyers on the fly. Next is a candid family Christmas pic with horror lurking if you dare to zoom. Now, I wasn't sure what to expect here, but there is no horror lurking in here. It's a very sweet, innocent image. I don't see any horror lurking when I zoom. But overall, the image is pretty good of a family on Christmas. So everyone's wearing Christmassy sweaters. You have bokeh light effect. It looks pretty good. Next is an image of, these are just some simple images, the day-to-day images that you might find in someone's phone. An image of HDX bleach at Home Depot. The price label says $2.75. The bleach is in a box that shows the size in liters, gallons, and fluid ounces. And I said 7.15 liters. So it does show 7.115 LL, but doesn't show ounces and gallons on the actual bottle, but it does show on the box 7.15 liters, gallons, and then ounces. And that math is actually pretty accurate. And then here's our price tag, $2.75, HDX, and I think it even got the HDX logo spot on. So let's go check out the HDX logo at Home Depot. Yeah, that's the original HDX logo. And then here's our HDX logo. So if we compare these two, they look very close to each other. Next is create an image of a LinkedIn post. This is the first time I think it trumped it because it gave me an X post, and then I said, this is an X post. I asked for a LinkedIn post and I got the exact same thing. So I couldn't get it to create a post that looks like someone wrote on LinkedIn, not on X. But I'm sure if I give it a reference image and ask it to recreate it, that it would actually do it. Then a concept Tesla model XYZ looks like a crossover. So here's our concept model Tesla. It has the Tesla logo and it has a crossover feel. Then we have a Starbucks barista showing a selfie with the NFL championship ring that Brady left behind. So it automatically put the New England Patriots on there because Tom Brady was on the Patriots, although he did get a championship for another team as well. But I think AI recognizes that for the most part he was with the Patriots. And then I said, now make it so it's taken an FPV first person view image with the ring in the palm of his hands. So here it is. It's actually pretty good. Then the next is an iPhone 14 pic quality showing four lobsters in a tank, and they each took a corner in a pseudo Mexican standoff looking away. Now, I wanted to say looking away, but I said looking way. So they are actually looking at each other, but still a normal photo that you would be hard pressed to believe is AI. Then we did a 30-year-old female model dressed in silky black blouse and trouser posing for a photo shoot. So this is where I wanted to see how good it would do with prompt adherence and swapping out items and adding items, and we actually did pretty good. Next, I said add these elements. So we have the necklace, the earrings, and the nose ring. It didn't do a good job on the nose ring, but you can see here's the necklace, here's the earrings. And then if we open this in a new window, here is our nose ring, but I don't think it did that good a job. And then I said, okay, now change her blouse to white and her trouser to pink and add this belt. So we're going to replace this blouse and trouser and belt. And here is that updated image. We still have the earrings, the necklace, we have the white blouse now, a new set of trousers, and that belt that I asked it to add. Then I said, now let's add these glasses and handbags. So one hand in the pocket, which is right here. The other hand is holding this purse and also these glasses. And here is our final fully accessorized model with glasses, with purse, with a whole new outfit essentially. And you can see the background pretty much stayed the same throughout this entire process. And now finally for professional image editing, what I did is I again took this photo of mine and I said, edit this into a professional studio portrait with complex Rembrandt lighting, soft key light. I have no clue what any of this means, but it means this. And it actually did a good job of taking my prompt, editing that image, and then giving me the result that I was looking for. And there you have it. That is the latest on ChatGPT Images. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll talk more AI, more ChatGPT, more Gemini, more of all of it. If you haven't already done it, smash that subscribe button so you get notified next time I release a video. And until next time, keep creating.